Yo, yo, yo. Hey, I'm Mark Buckner with the Mark Buckner Group, and I'm with our social media editor, Bridget. She's amazing. So if you're looking for someone to help you with your social media content as a whole, she is amazing. We've worked together, like 3 years now?
3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she's awesome. On this channel, we talk about living in Chicago, buying, selling, renting, investing, and maintaining your home in a four-season climate of Chicago. So we are here with another episode of
Am I the asshole?
Reddit. All right, let's get into it, Bridge.
All right. So, for those who aren't familiar, Am I the Asshole is a Reddit thread where people ask questions to see if they're an asshole or not in a certain situation. In this case, it's for real estate.
All right, so I feel a little bit like Howard Stern and Robin Quivers right now. And so Howard would interrupt and say, well, if you have to write about it, doesn't that already mean that you already know you're kind of the asshole?
You'd think so, but there are a lot of ones where they're really unsure about the situation, like more so on emotion. So you'd be surprised how many people aren't actually the asshole, and it's just the predicament that they're in.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, a lot of the times they are the asshole. By the way, for anyone watching, if you want like really juicy Am I the Assholes, you go to Am I the Devil subreddit. We'll talk about that another day.
Oh.
Okay?
New podcast. New topic. All right.
All right. Am I the asshole for being upset at my realtor for leaving out important information about the house we're trying to buy? So this is about a realtor this time.
Yeah.
Okay. My husband and I had our house on the market since October of 22. It's been a dumpster fire of things. By the way, this was last year. This was posted in 2023. It's been a dumpster fire of things that have prevented us from actually closing, but it seems like we may be back on track now. We found a house we like and put an offer on it. There's a wall that is shared by the kitchen and laundry room with some bubbling. I'm no expert, but it looked like water damage to me. There was an inspection done on this property on 10th of May that my realtor sent us. She said that the inspector was a brother of another agent, and in her opinion, it was a conflict of interest. My husband and I considered this and ultimately decided to hire our own inspector. This inspection was done yesterday, June 24th. Okay, so it sounds like there's some water damage.
So they have a property they're trying to sell. They're seeing some signs. So the listing agent hires a home inspector to do a home inspection?
There was an inspection done on the property on the 10th of May that my realtor sent us. She said that the inspector was the brother of another agent.
Oh, so they had an inspection done. You sent the report. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then they ended up hiring their own inspector about a month later. I let my realtor know when the inspection had concluded that mostly everything looked okay except for that wall. The inspector said that it could be water damage or termite damage as he saw termite tracks. He said he didn't know if they were old or new. Okay, major red flag, right? Termites are no bueno. He recommended getting a bug guy and a plumber out there to further check on everything. I'm telling this to my realtor and asked if I've only got a few days to do this. And as we were nearing our 10-day period and being allowed to do inspections, or if I can do this next week. She then proceeded to tell me that she and the seller were aware of live termites. Okay, so it looks like they're buying a house.
Yeah, I thought she was a
I'm
seller.
going to backtrack. Okay. We found a house we liked and put an offer on it. Okay, so they're selling their home. They're moving to a new home. There is a wall that is shared by the kitchen and laundry room with some bubbling. I'm no expert, but it looks like water damage to me. There was an inspection done on the property on the 10th of May that my realtor sent us. She said that the inspector was a brother of another agent and, in her opinion, was a conflict of interest. My husband and I considered and ultimately decided to hire our own inspector. This inspection was done yesterday, June 24th. So wait, before I hop into that next section, the realtor hired the inspector or recommended the inspector that did the initial one?
This is where it's the information's a little kind of confusing. It sounds like the person who wrote this is buying a home, and they put it under contract, and that possibly, my assumption is that the seller did a home inspection themselves, and that was done by an inspector that was the brother of the seller or
Of
something?
the agent,
Of
yes.
the agent. And so they forwarded it to the buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent shared it with him. Almost, she writes it as implying that their agent was telling them not to do their own home inspection, which seems kind of weird.
She then proceeds to tell me that she and the seller were aware of live termites, had someone to come out to look at the repair on the wall, and had a termite guy already figured in the contract that would spray for us. Oh gosh. So before that, I'm telling this to my realtor and asked if I've only got a few days more to do this, as we were nearing our 10-day period of being allowed to do inspections, or if I can do this next week. So they're in the under contract period.
They're in the attorney review period, inspection period.
So they're aware there are live termites.
Yep.
They had someone look at the repair on the wall, had a termite guy already figured into the contract that would spray for us.
Yep.
So before they got under contract, they're just now learning about the termites.
The impression I get is that the seller did the inspection, found out that there's signs of termites. They hired an exterminator, and they got a contract with the exterminator, a proposal to treat for termites, and that's been shared with them.
Okay.
But she's trying to determine should she be doing further due diligence, and that she only has a certain amount of time to do it.
Okay. Am I wrong to have been flabbergasted? Had we known about this and had we known that it was already someone in place to look at the wall and fix it, we may not have shelled out the money for another inspection. This is the second one we have had to do. There was another property we had been looking at before this one. So $600 spent on inspections in the last month. The wall was the main thing we were concerned about. I asked if there were anything else going on that I was not aware of. My realtor responded, and I quote, "No, talk about luck, there's not." It was very condescending. She proceeded to go into how she's busting her butt on getting our house sold and how she's not had any help with it, and ours is the most difficult sell she's ever had, and that she doesn't have time to go over every single little thing with me about the new one. She also told me that most people don't give a shit about termites. It's been one thing after another with this lady. She sold me the house that I'm currently in and trying to sell, and that was a breeze. It's why I contacted her again. I wish I never had. This was the tip of the iceberg for me and my husband. So are we the assholes for feeling like she's leaving out information? I just feel like I should be the one to decide what I do and do not give a shit about. I'm wondering what else she isn't telling us. So this is a returning client. This isn't even like a first-time home buyer.
No, but, unless you're in real estate, most people are only trading homes once every 5 years the first time. After that, sometimes they're not trading again for 20 years. So they don't have much knowledge versus, a broker or someone who invests in real estate on a regular basis. So, yeah, the seller, this buy, we'll call her a buy-sell. Your point, thinking like she knows more, she should know more, but I guess I'm saying I understand that she doesn't, and no judgment on that, I guess. It's really kind of, her write-up of this makes it really kind of challenging to talk about a little bit.
Okay.
Because she's a little bit all over the place. But kind of summary is, she seems upset because felt like her agent kind of duped her by not giving her all the information prior. I'm a little unclear if she's upset because the agent didn't tell her about the wall being inspected by the seller beforehand, before she didn't and hired her own home inspector. Is that what you got from at the end in the summary, that she's upset about that?
As part of the summary, she had to shell out money for 2 inspections when the seller agent already had an inspection. According to the buyer's agent, according to how it's written, they had written it off because it was done by the agent's brother.
Yeah.
So there's 3 inspections
There's
total.
3.
Yeah.
What's the third inspection?
I think the 3rd inspection was again after they discovered the termites, and they had another inspection done. So one was for the water damage, second one's for termites.
So this is what the impression I get is that there was an inspection and then they called in some experts to come in and maybe either look at the water damage and or the termites. This is normal. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I just had a client ask me if she should inspect for termites. Asked if she should do a lead test. I will tell my clients when I think they should spend money and when I think it's not in their best interest because there's a substantial reason, I want to say an educational reason, but there's data to warrant not doing it. For example, what I'm talking about is lead paint. If you're buying a house that was built before 1978, paint manufacturers were putting lead in the paint, right?
Okay.
So if that home, unless it's a complete, absolute gut rehab and all the dust and everything was vacuumed up and everything, even inside the old, between the studs, there's lead paint in the building. I know that. And if there's a lead water line, there's risk of lead in the water. Like, I know these things. We don't have to do tests to determine that. So to me, that's kind of a waste of your money. She asked about termites. I was like, typically hire a home inspector. The home inspector knows what signs to look for termites. And I've had this happen, my wife and I. We looked at a building, a multi-unit building that had signs of termites. And there are certain signs that'll show you of active and non-active termites. We bought the building with active termites.
Yeah.
But I also did the inspection. The inspector saw the signs of the termites. Then I hired an exterminator, pest control person. And so it was a man, he came out and said, yeah, you have active termites here. We walked through the whole building, saw more signs of where they are. We saw where they were stopping. He educated me on, how to treat and how to continue to treat, how to look for other active signs in the future, and the whole process. To me, I was still very interested in the deal. I kind of made an informed decision, bought the building. We've had no signs of termites since we treated, and I re-inspect every year with that company, Rose's Pest Solutions. They do all our buildings and actually our primary residency. So I don't think she got duped there.
Okay.
Really. That's part of problem solving. I think it would have been nice to have the information from the seller. I don't know if it was lagged from the seller, if it was lagged from the agent. Why that? I don't see why the agent would do it unless the agent is really just trying to make a hard sale. The flip side is the agent sounds like she's burnt out. Either she's burnt out from overworking in the industry or she's burnt out with this client. I don't know, but there's been a series of things that probably led up to this point in time. And oftentimes that happens when people start to think the other party's not being fully transparent. And as an agent, there's lots of steps I take to always be fully transparent. So if you ask me, do you check on this property with another agent? Depending on what the recommendation is on the listing, sometimes I'm supposed to text them. So I'll text them. I'll screenshot that and send it to my client. I am continuously putting tokens in the piggy bank to build trust with my client, whether it's how I'm communicating with the agent, how I'm determining what market value is, how I educate on the process of buying and selling, literature that I'm forming, that I'm providing, market data that I'm pulling, always, always, always trying to build and grow trust and be fully transparent. And I suspect that some of that stuff was going on.
Yeah.
So I suspect in both parties, once again, I say it takes two to tango. So far, you haven't given me something where I'm just like clearly that person's the asshole. The client does sound like she is difficult, and she does have difficult products. So I don't know. And maybe this is like when we talk about the pizza review guy. Who's the pizza review guy on TikTok? What's his name, Rick?
Manoy or something.
I don't know.
I only know his last name, but I've been watching the pizza
Yeah,
guy on
yeah,
TikTok.
right. Everybody watches Pizza Guy,
I love
man.
the
He's
pizza
world
guy.
famous now.
Yeah.
So like maybe this is like he scores his pizza and he's a hard scorer. So maybe this is like, we're gonna piggyback off the pizza dude.
Yeah.
Let's tag him in this. But I don't know. I would say, oh wow, it's kind of hard to say. Like, where's the ownership? And it's in doing that, you're making certain assumptions, right? Like,
Yeah.
I could see this lady as being I could see her as being difficult. And I can see the agent, I can see the agent as being difficult. I've been on both sides of this. And I can tell you it's heartache if I have a client like this who really thinks I'm not being honest with, it keeps me up at night. Like it's, and when they don't understand or they just have such high expectations that I am going to be perfect the whole way along the way, and that if I wasn't, that I was being malicious and really trying to dupe them into a sale, I have no interest in any of that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to draw some conclusions and some assumptions, but let's go out on a limb. What are you thinking?
So rather than saying who's the asshole or not, just like the pizza guy, one bite, everybody knows the rules. How difficult is this situation scaling 0 to 10? Just as if you were rating this like the pizza guy.
How difficult the situation
Is this situation as an agent?
As an agent, I think you're probably at about a 7.5, 7.8. Like it's hard. It can get way harder and uglier. Trust me.
Okay.
But this may be a termination time. I don't know if they can recover from it.
Okay.
The agent may be losing the business. They may lose the house. I don't think she's so worried about losing the house. She's scared off by termites. Because what take it further, what I think should have, if I was the agent and say, all right, we did an inspection. I was just like, signs of termites, we need to bring a termite guy out. Yeah. There's signs of water that's coming out. You're having doubts about this house. So here's the deal. Let's go back. This is not traditional. My thought is let's ask that seller to open up the wall. I want to open up the wall and I want to see what's going on in the wall.
Okay.
And the seller can say, we're not going to do that. And I can say, then I'm going to my client saying, they're not willing to do that. There's too many things here. There's signs of water. There's signs of termites. We don't know where it stops or starts or ends. We can't get a true conclusion out of this. I think you walk from it.
Okay. 7.5 and walk. You heard it here. 7.5.
What's my 7.5, by the way?
The situation.
Situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there I'm trying to find a solution. I mean, that's part of the reason why you're paying a broker, to guide you, direct you, and problem solve. And the end result, we are trying to problem solve on situations of, having a buyer and a seller and trying to bring them together to make a deal or not. This is a hard one.
This is. I love that you brought up the pizza guy. I love him.
We are copying off the pizza dude. One thing I have with the pizza guy, which I always find interesting, so this is TikTok just on the pizza guy. One bite, everybody knows the rules. There's a few things that I love about the pizza guy. How he talks about his flop, but then he takes a bite, mumbles around, starts talking about, takes another bite. But he always has to go to the end and then takes a bite of the crust, which is, I'd never eat a slice of pizza that way.
Right.
But I'm always interested that he still needs that end crust pizza bite to then determine his score. When it is one bite, everybody knows the rules.
Right.
Call bullshit on one bite, everybody knows the rules.
It's like 10 bites. Nobody knows the rules.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're being critical, but we're watching you, dude, and we're talking about you. All right, I'm Mark Buckner. Mark Buckner Group here. We talk about living in Chicago, buying, selling, investing, renting, and maintaining your home in the city of Chicago. You like what we're putting down, hit the subscribe, click on the bell. You'll be notified every time we do a post. Thanks for watching.